so we're just going to get towards the bigger equations this week. Tomorrow will get a little bit bigger. Thursday is going to be a review for a quiz. Friday is the quiz. Okay, so we're just practicing on really getting everything to a two-step or one-step equation, and then once we get there, it's the same as this equation. So first thing I want you to recognize is that these are not the same. They look very similar. This has variables on the same side. In that case, you just combine them together and we got 11u. Because they're on the same side, so we just solve 11u equals 35, and then we can divide both sides. These are on different sides. These two variables are on different sides. So we want to get it so it looks like this. So we want the variables on one side, like this, by subtracting on both sides. That way we get 8u minus 3u is just 5u. Right? This equals 0. U, we don't really write that, but it equals 0u. And then we're left with a 35 on the right-hand side. So you see how the goal is the same. We're trying to get the variable on one side and number on the other. But if the variables are already on the same side, you just add and subtract them, right? Combine them. Right? I didn't subtract 3u here. I just did 8 plus 3. But here, since the variables are on different sides, I did do the opposite. This was positive 3u, so I did subtract. So this could be a little confusing if you're not careful. It matters if they're on the same side or not. So just be careful with that. The left side is what we did last week. They're all on the same side, so we just combine them. Today you're going to have some on the same side and on both sides. So that's going to be one of those things that you got to be careful about. It really matters where this equal sign is. Okay, if you have variables on both sides, you got to add and subtract. Going over to a few more, you might need to add and subtract to either side. Meaning, sometimes you want to move the variables to one side, sometimes you want to move the variables to the other. The goal is to have them on different sides. So usually you just kind of keep the number where it is. So if we want the number on the left, that means this 5t needs to move. That's how you figure out, should I subtract 5t or should I subtract 18t? Right? 18t. Right? It's really trying to get everything away from the number. So because the number is on the left, I want to get rid of this 5t. That's how you figure out what to subtract. You're going to have two variables, and now I'll let you know what to subtract. Alright, so that's 0t, so I got negative 26 equals 13t. And then you can divide both sides and solve. Same thing here on e. The number is on the left, so that means I need to get rid of the 2. It's a positive 2x, so subtract 2x on both sides. Now, lastly, what happens if you have variables and numbers on both sides? Well, you can put the variables on either side, and you can put the numbers on either side. So let me actually do this both ways so you can see. Let me get rid of actually this one. This one. Take 2 of these, and I can show you. So you can put the variables to the left or the variables to the right. So watch this. Let's say I want the variables on the left here. That means I want the numbers on the right-hand side. Okay. So if I want the variables on the left, that means I keep the 4x, because that's where I want it. But the 4, the plus 4, I want it on the right-hand side. Numbers go to the right. So it's positive 4, so I'll subtract 4 on both sides. Okay. And that would mean if I want the variables to the left, this positive 2x needs to go to the other side. So that's the process right there, deciding where do you want the variables and numbers. They have to be on opposite sides. And then this will happen. You'll have the variables cancel on one side, well, the numbers cancel on one side, and variables on the other. And you can see what I'm left with is just variables on the left, 4x plus 2x, 2x. And on the right-hand side, I have 36 minus 4. So I Again, the goal is just to get to variables on the left, numbers on the right. Or, let me show you another one. What if I want to do the other one? Let's say I want the numbers on the left and the variables on the right. You only have to do one way, but I want to show you get the same answer regardless. So if we want the numbers on the left, this time I want to keep the 4 there. So I want the numbers on the left this time, but I'm going to move the 4 plus 4x because I said I want that on the other side. And since I want the variables on the right, this plus 36 is a number, I want to move it to the left. So plus 36, so let's look at it. Now you can see that on the right-hand side, I'll get some negatives. And that's 0, that's 0. I'll get 4 minus 36 is negative 32. And 2x minus 4x is negative 2x. They look very similar, and when you solve them, you have to solve them all by dividing, one by negative 2. But you notice how the answer comes out to be the same. So, because the negative divided by negative is positive. So it does not matter which way you decide. You can want to do variables on the left, numbers on the right, or vice versa. And you'll get the same answer, right? Those come out to be the same. So there's more than one way to do these. Just so you know, when you guys are checking with each other, if the steps don't match identically, it doesn't mean one of you is wrong. You could both be doing it correctly in a different way. And again, as you get higher up in math, there's more than one right way to do it, and you can't just say it's not the right answer because it's not what I have. So just keep that in mind. If you get a different method but the same answer, you're probably okay. And my advice is to go with the method that gives you the least amount of negatives. So on here, the left one right here, you see how you don't get any negatives here? That's one less mistake you don't have to worry about making later on. But when you have negatives, you know, the number one mistake is probably messing up on negatives. So if you can avoid it, probably want to go with that. But you do get the same answer. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. And you notice how I do both the adding and subtracting in one step. You see how it's different colors? Those are 2 different steps all together at one time. That's probably a good way of going about it. That way you don't accidentally add and subtract to the wrong thing. So you got the variables with variables and the numbers with numbers. Right? So you can't accidentally do 4x minus 36 if it's written this way. So you can do both algebra steps together. Okay? As long as you got the same thing on both sides, negative 4, negative 4, negative 36, negative 36, you're okay. As long as it's the same thing on both sides. All right. Other than that, you guys can work the rest of the period. We got about 27 minutes. If you get done, you can show it to me. I'll come around and stamp number 8 right now. Just make sure all the work is numbered and stapled together. Okay?